was so satisfying. My sycamore tree sing all a green willow. Her head on her bosom, her head on her knee, sing willow, willow, willow. The fresh streams run by her, and murmur, sing willow, willow, willow. The salt is fell from her and soften the stone, sing willow, willow, willow. Ready, hidey, you come on, sing all the green willow. Must be my darling, let nobody blame in this scorn I uphold.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the month of February. Glad to be here with John, Alex, Ted, Maggie, Brandon, Bill, Sheila, and Eleanor. I got a good turnout today, so that's really awesome. One thing to mention, last week at Bill's suggestion, we tried the idea of spinning for everybody's monologue first, and then they would take turns. They have time to look it over. And I asked everybody to vote on that, send me an email. Only one person did, and said that it was, said she had the feeling that it took away from the engagement, in the sense that some people they were busy preparing their own rather than watching the person whose turn it currently was. And I tend to agree with that, and I kind of think that it takes some of the excitement of the game away when it's not. Just wait till it's your turn before you see whatever comes up, and then you have to perform it. So unless more people cast votes to tip the balance the other way, we're going to go back to the way we had done it. And our randomly chosen predetermined order for today is Alex, Danielle, Brandon, Maggie, myself, Ted, Bill, Eleanor, Sheila, Henry, John, Elizabeth. That's the order we're going to go in. So that means Alex goes first, and let me bring the wheel up for him. And where is Alex? There he is. Oops, gone. Alex, there you are.
Hello.
Hello. Oh. There. I keep messing with it, getting the wrong setting. I'm trying to get the wheel in. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so Alex, we will spin for you now. And Alex is going to form. If these shadows have offended. So
I know. Okay, I know this by heart. I don't need to find it.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so take that out of the stream, and hold on, I got to create the banner for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Yeah. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and always mend it, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle team, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest buck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we shall make amends ere long. Else, the pack and I go. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Alex shall restore amends. And scene.
The changing. That's nice. in this case, we had somebody who was prepared right off the bat, but that's the randomness of the game. You might get one you're totally prepared for like that. You might get one you're not prepared at all for, and that's why it's the Wheel of Shakespeare challenge.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. So I think I'm glad going back to this method. Okay, so back to the wheel. It is now Brannon's turn. Here you are. Brannon is going to perform. Spinning for Brannon. Mistress Quickly. He's in Arthur's bosom. Okay.
5, 3. Okay. 2, 3, 9. Okay. Sorry,
That would be
Henry 4, Scene 3.
No. Henry V.
Oh,
okay.
I'm looking at
Act 2.
Okay.
So Falstaff just died.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Act 4, Scene 3. Oh, this is it. Okay. Henry 4, Part 2, Act 3, Scene 3.
No, Henry 5.
Henry 5. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Act 2, Scene 3.
I got 4. Okay. Henry 5. Okay. Act 2, Scene 3. 2, Scene 3. Okay. All right.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Nay,
okay.
Sure. Okay. Nay, sure he's not in hell, he's in Arthur's bosom. If ever man went to Arthur's bosom, made a finer end and went away, and it had been a Christum child, aparted even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. Or after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers and smile upon his fingers' ends, I knew there was but one way. For his nose was as sharp as a pin, and a babbled of green fields. How now, Sir John, quoth I, what man? Be of good cheer. So I cried out, God, 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 3 times or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid him I should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet. So I bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand onto the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I fell to his knees, and they were as cold as any stone. And so upward and upward, and all was cold as any stone. Scene.
Oh, very nice. Um, Maggie is up next, and then I'm on deck. I'll go after her. And Maggie is going to do. To be or not to be.
What? What's that one? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's an unusual one. Never heard of that.
Yeah, haven't heard that one.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Ah, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might make his when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of? Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action.
Awesome. By the way, while I have you on, I saw
Yes.
that you made a comment in the chat about having a list of the multiplayer scenes or something like that.
I try to write it in the chat so people can see that as we go. So when it's their turn, maybe they'll already know what roles have been chosen and what is left.
And I just I thought I'd ask now because I realized we got a good turnout today. It's good. We got 10 people, and this is one of we should do we should do at least one larger scene beyond two. And I hadn't thought about what to do, so I was wondering if you and this is for everybody. If anybody has any suggestions, put it in the chat. Just here, one I'm throwing out here that we've done would have like 4 or 5 people in it. I'm thinking from King Lear, Gloucester's blinding scene where they blind it. And there's a lot of conflict there. Goes with the wife and the servant to get involved with the Duke blinding Gloucester. I think that's a good multiplayer scene that would be good for us. But
yeah, I was saying when you spin the wheel and you say what those are, I type it in the chat right then. I'm not saying So,
okay.
but that's a great one too.
So that's just the proposal. Everybody, let me know in the chat what you think of that, or if you have another suggestion for a larger scene that we do along with the few 2 and 3 player scenes to get a role for everybody when we get to scenes. So anyway, it is now my turn to do my monologue, and Ted, you're on deck. You'll go after me, and I am going to do. Valerius. This is a role I've played on stage before, but it's been a while, so I can't say the same thing Alex did. I'm not still off, but I of course once was, but not now. Valerius. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature. These boys know little that they are sons to the king, nor Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly, the cave wherein they bow, their thoughts do hit the roofs of palaces, and nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the trick of others. This Polydore, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius, Jove, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story, say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on his neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek. He sweats, strains his young nerves, and puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwal, once Arviragus, is as like a figure, strikes life into my speech, and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is aroused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows that thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession, as thou reft'st me of my lands. Euryphile, thou wast their nurse. They took thee for their mother, and every day do honor to her grave. Myself, Belarius, that him Morgan called, they take for natural father. The game is up. Scene. Okay, that done. Ted, it is your turn, and Bill, you're on deck. So Ted is going to do Lady Percy, Henry IV, Part 1, that's Act 2, Scene 3.
Okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go for it.
Oh, my good lord, why are you thus alone? For what offence have I this fortnight been a banished woman from my Harry's bed? Tell me, sweet lord, what is't that takes from thee thy stomach, pleasure, and thy golden sleep? Why dost thou bend thine eyes upon the earth, and start so often when thou sitt'st alone? Why hast thou lost the fresh blood in thy cheeks, and given my treasures and my rights of thee to thick-eyed musing and cursed melancholy? In thy faint slumbers I by thee have watched, and heard thee murmur tales of iron wars, speak terms of manage to thy bounding steed, cry courage to the field, and thou hast talked of sallies and retires, of trenches, tents, of palisadoes, frontiers, parapets, of basilisks, of cannon, culverin, of prisoners' ransom, and of soldiers slain, and all the currents of a heady fight. Thy spirit within thee hath been so at war, and thus hath so bestirred thee in thy sleep, that beads of sweat have stood upon thy brow like bubbles in a late disturbed stream. And in thy face strange motions have appeared, such as we see when men restrain their breath on some great sudden hest. Oh, what portents are these? Some heavy business hath my lord in hand, and I must know it, else he loves me not. Scene.
Okay, Bill is up, and Eleanor, you're on deck. You'll go after Bill. Bill, to do. Spinning for Bill. Friends, Romans, Countrymen. That was a big one.
All right.
Act 3, Scene 2.
Okay.
Ready?
Not there yet. Didn't find it. I'm in the right scene looking for. There, I got it.
Okay, go.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred in with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here, under the leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was a friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment. Thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Scene.
Awesome. Okay, Eleanor, you're up, and Shelia is on deck. Okay, here you are. So Eleanor is going to do Friar Lawrence, the Gray-Eyed Man. So that's the begin. Act 2, Scene 3. That's the very beginning.
Okay, let me find it. Act 2, Scene 3. I wanted to say that I thought your idea of giving us time to prepare was excellent. I thought it was so obviously superior, I didn't bother to send you an email voting, or I forgot, whatever. So I just did so, but I thought it was a good idea to get the best performance from
So
us.
now we have one vote on each side, so everybody else can let me know for
Okay.
next week how the
Well,
vote stands.
yeah, I think doing our best job is better than muddling with not fully understanding what we're saying. Okay. I am not familiar with this, so I will be muddling.
All right, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. The gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and flecked darkness like a drunkard wheels from forth day's path, and tightens fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advances his burning eye the day to cheer, and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that's nature's mother is her tomb. What is her burying grave? That is her womb. And from her womb children of diverse kind we, sucking on her natural bosom, find many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their true qualities, for naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give, nor aught so good, but strained from that fair use, revolts from true worth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this small flower poison hath residence and medicine power. For this being smelt with that part cheers each part, being tasted slays all senses with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will, and where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
Hey, nice. Sheila. So Sheila is up, and Henry is on deck.
And let me butt in here because I read what Maggie just posted, and yes, I'm going to maintain my position that if it's the Wheel of Shakespeare, it's about the randomness and enjoying that improvisational opportunity. And I definitely know that I myself, if I know in advance what I'm going to do, I'm going to be off in a corner looking at it. I'm not going to pay any attention to what you are doing. And I don't think that's fair to our fellow players. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly in agreement with you, but we'll see what the other regular players say. Okay, let's. Okay, spinning for Sheila. Oh, okay. This is the fourth and much less often performed of Hamlet's four great verse soliloquies, the one that's usually cut from most productions, but it's very powerful and great in its own. Act 4, Scene 4, how all occasions do inform.
Mark, could you tell me what happens exactly before this? Because it's obviously spurned by some event.
Yeah, it's where he's observing Fortinbras's army about to fight a battle over a worthless piece of land, and he's reflecting on what a coward he is. Geez, Fortinbras is ready to. These thousands of men are ready to go to their death fighting over a piece of land that's worth nothing, and I don't have the guts to kill the guy that murdered my father, basically. So he's watching them prepare for that battle and reflecting on it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so whenever it's Act 4, Scene 4, I believe.
Got it.
Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but one part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward. Oh, I do not know why yet I live to say this thing to do, since I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince whose spirit, with divine ambition puffed, makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly, to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at stake. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While, to my shame, I see that imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds, fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
Okay. So we have Henry, and then John said he was having technical difficulties. Hopefully he made it back and can perform after Henry. Henry is going to do Volumnia, nay, go not for offense, pleading with her son not to destroy Rome.
What are the first words?
Chorus,
Should we be silent?
Nay, go not from us thus. Act 5, Scene 3.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Right. Nay, go not from us thus. If it were so that our request did tend to save the Romans, thereby to destroy the Volscis whom you serve, you might condemn us as poisonous of your honour. No. Our suit is that you reconcile them. While the Volscis may say, this mercy we have showed the Romans, this we received, and each in either side give the all hail to thee and cry, be blessed for making up this peace. Thou knowest, great son, the end of war is uncertain, but this certain, that if thou conquer Rome, the benefit which thou shalt thereby reap is such a name whose reputation will be dogged with curses, whose chronicle thus writ, the man was noble, but with his last attempt he wiped it out, destroyed his country, and his name remains to the ensuing age abhorred. Speak to me, son. Thou hast affected the fine strains of honour to imitate the graces of the gods, to tear with thunder the wide cheeks of the air, and yet to charge thy sulphur with a bolt that should but rive an oak. Why does not speak? Think'st thou it honourable for a noble man still to remember wrongs? Daughter, speak you, he cares not for your weeping. Speak thou, boy, perhaps thy childishness will move him more than can our reasons. There's no man in the world more bound to his mother, yet here he lets me prate like one of the stocks. Thou hast never in thy life showed thy dear mother any courtesy, when she, poor hen, fond of no second brood, has clucked thee to the wars and safely home, loaden with honour. Say my request's unjust and spurn me back, but if it be not so, thou art not honest, and the gods will plague thee, that thou restrainest me from the duty which to a mother's part belongs. He turns away. Ah! Down, ladies, let us shame him with our knees. To his surname Coriolanus longs more pride than pity to our prayers. Down, an end. This is the last. So we will home to Rome and die among our neighbours. Nay, beholds, this boy cannot tell what he would have, but knees and holds up bands for fellowship. Does reason our petition with more strength than thou hast to deny it? Come, let us go. This fellow had a Volscian to his mother. His wife is in Corioli, and his child like him by chance. Yet give us our dispatch. I am hushed until our city be afire, and then I'll speak a little.
Okay.
Do you think I saved the day? Do you think I saved the day?
Yeah, well, I'll say watch a production of the play, or there's the Rafe Fiennes film version of it. Watch the film to find out whether or not that speech saved the day or not. Okay, John, I hope you've resolved your technical difficulties and you're able to join us and perform your monologue. Great, you're back. So The last monologue before we start our scenes will be done by John and will be Titus, Hear Me, Grave Fathers. It's opening of Act 3, Scene 1.
Okay, what is it? I can't see it. Can you repeat that? I can't see it.
It's Titus Andronicus, Act 3, Scene 1. It's the very beginning where he's pleading for his sons.
Act 1,
Act
scene
3, Scene 1.
3, 1. Okay. Oh. Let me see here. Sorry, having trouble here. Okay, Act
3, Scene 1.
Okay, Titus. Okay, Titus Andronicus.
Yeah, begins, Hear Me, Grave Fathers.
Act 3, Scene 1. Okay, and he is
pleading for the lives of his sons who have been framed for the murder of the emperor's brother.
Okay, I'm here. I got it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hear me, grave fathers, noble tribunes, stay! For pity of mine age, whose youth was spent in dangerous wars, whilst you securely slept, for all my blood in Rome's great quarrel shed, for all the frosty nights that I have watched, and for these bitter tears which now you see filling the aged wrinkles in my cheeks, be pitiful to my condemned sons, whose souls are not corrupted as 'tis thought. For 22 sons I never wept, because they died in honor's lofty bed. For these tribunes, in the dust I write my heart's deep languor and my soul's sad tears. Let my tears stanch the earth's dry appetite. My son's sweet blood will make it shame and blush. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain than shall distill from these two ancient urns. Then youthful April shall with all his showers in summer's drought I'll drop upon thee still. In winter with warm tears I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face. So now refuse to drink. Crap. O earth, I will befriend thee more with rain that shall distill from these two ancient urns, that youthful April shall with all his showers. In summer's drought I'll drop upon thee still. In winter with warm tears I'll melt the snow and keep eternal springtime on thy face. See thou refuse to drink my dear son's blood. O reverend tribunes, O gentle aged men, unbind my sons, reverse the doom of death, and let me say that never wept before, my tears are now prevailing orators. Scene.
Hey. Nice. Okay. So for our scenes, I'm going to spin for some of the smaller scenes. For our larger scene, it seemed everyone was okay with my idea of the Gloucester's blinding scene in King Lear. That's Act 3, Scene 7, And in terms, that can be done with 4 actors. What I'm going to do, so Goneril is in it. She has like 2 lines. What we'll do is like the line where she says farewell, sister, and at least we'll just cut that. We'll just have her not be in the scene. And we'll the other line, the pluck out his eyes. We don't want to lose that line. That's too great for this scene. But we're just gonna, I'll just combine her with Regan. So whoever's Regan, Regan says hang him, and her sister chimes in with pluck out his eyes. Whoever is playing Regan will just do it, hang him, pluck out his eyes, just as one line together. So and then Oswald is in the scene, and then there's servants. Oswald is a servant, so it makes perfect sense to just combine him. And then there's 2 more servants come in after all the hell is broken loose in the scene. We'll just, once everybody exits but the other 2 servants, we'll just we'll just end the scene there. So we don't need servant 2 and 3. So we'll just have Oswald / first servant that gets killed will be the same character. So there'll be 4 roles. Cornwall, Regan, combined sort of with her sister, Gloucester, and Oswald / servant. So that's the first 4 roles. The roles for the other 6 of us. Save so I'm going back to the wheel to get the roles for the other 6 of us. Okay. Othello 3.3, and that's Othello and Yago Part 1. The idea is this scene with Othello and Yago is the first. There's the first time Yago is trying to make Othello jealous, and then they part long enough for all the chaos with a handkerchief to occur, and then Othello comes back in. They have another discourse part. This will just be the first part of their dialogue about Desdemona and Cassio. So part 1 of that encounter, Othello and Yago in that first part. Antony and Cleopatra. That's the last scene. That's Cleopatra and Dolabella. And it'll start, that's going to be a hard one to find. Maybe we'll do that one last, so whoever's doing that has more time to find it. It would start from most noble empress. I think a lot of people in that scene. Various times they leave and come back. This is when people have exited and left just Cleopatra and Dolabella there, and he starts with most noble empress. That's where we'll take it from. So we need 2 more roles. Move that. So we got 2 scenes from Antony and Cleopatra. The other one's Act 3, Scene 4, Octavia and Antony. I think this is the one, Octavius's sister that was forced to marry, that Antony was forced to marry as part of the peace agreement. I remember that as a short but sweet scene. Okay, so the 10 roles we have to choose from between the 10 of us are Lear, Act 3, Scene 7, Cornwall, Regan, Gloucester, and Oswald, then Othello and Yago, then Cleopatra and Dolabella, and then Octavia and Antony. So John has the first choice amongst those 10 roles. John, what would you like?
Othello.
Henry, what would you like?
Yago, please.
Yago. Shelia, what would you like?
Octavia.
Octavia. Eleanor, what would you like? Eleanor, are you still with us?
I'm here. I'm just trying to look and see what we've got to choose between. I didn't. Which scene is the Othello and Yago one?
Those have both been taken.
Okay.
Yeah, John and Henry took those.
Okay. I'll take Cleopatra.
Okay, Cleopatra. Bill, what would you like?
How about Gloucester?
Gloucester. And Ed, what would you like?
I'll take Antony, Act 3, Scene 4.
Ted takes Antony. I will take Cornwall. So what we have left is we have Regan, Oswald, and Dolabella. Maggie, it's your turn to pick. Where is Maggie? There she is.
I guess I will take Regan. I've tried to get these all written down in the chat, but it's gone pretty fast.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. And between Dolabella and Oswald, Brandon, what would you like?
Dolabella.
Dolabella. Mm-hmm. So that leaves, so Alex, that leaves Oswald for you. Okay, so get this banner here that says Gloucester's Castle in King Lear. That's where it is. And myself, Alex, Maggie, and Bill. Bill is actually, and Bill, you're a prisoner, and they bring you in the middle. So we're going to start with just 3 of us on stage, and then I'll add Bill when we drag you in to blind you. And Alex, you got the last choice. So I want to make sure you're going to be Oswald, and then you're also the first servant that gets. Okay. You know, we'll just pretend that Oswald is that same servant. Got to bring mine up here. Okay, so everybody's ready?
I am, yes.
Post speedily to my lord your husband. Show him this letter. The army of France is landed. Seek out the villain Gloucester.
Hang him instantly. Pluck out his eyes.
Leave him to my displeasure. Edmund, keep you our sister company. The revenges we are bound to take upon your traitorous father are not fit for your beholding. Advise the Duke where you are going, to a most festinate preparation. We are bound to the like. Our post shall be swift and intelligent betwixt us. Farewell, dear sister. Farewell, my Lord of Gloucester. How now? Where is the king?
My Lord of Gloucester had conveyed him hence. Some 5 or 36 of his knights had hot questrites after him, met him at gate, who, with some other of the Lord's dependents, are gone with him towards Dover, where they boast to have well-armed friends.
Get horses for your mistress. Edmund, farewell. Go seek the traitor Gloucester. Prison him like a thief. Bring him before us. So Well, we may not pass upon his life without the form of justice, yet our power shall do a courtesy to our wrath, which men may blame but not control. Who's there? The traitor?
Ingrateful fox, 'tis he.
Bind fast his corky arms.
What mean your graces? Good my friends, consider you are my guests. Do me no foul play, friends.
Bind him, I say.
Hard, hard! Oh, filthy traitor!
Unmerciful lady as you are, I'm none.
To this chair bind him, villain. Thou shalt find.
By the kind gods, 'tis most ignobly done to pluck me by the beard.
Oh, such a traitor.
Naughty lady, these hairs which thou dost ravish from my chin will quicken and accuse thee. I am your host. With robber's hands my hospitable favors you should not ruffle thus. What will you do?
Come, sir. What letters had you late from France?
Be simple, answerer, for we know the truth.
And what confederacy have you with the traitors late footed in the kingdom?
To whose hands have you sent the lunatic king? Speak!
I have a letter guessingly set down, which came from one that's of a neutral heart, and
That's
not
Gloucester.
someone opposed.
That's Gloucester.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. I have a letter guessingly set down, which came from one that's of a neutral heart and not from one opposed.
Cunning.
And false.
Where hast thou sent the king?
To Dover.
Wherefore to Dover? Wast thou not charged at peril?
Wherefore to Dover? Let him first answer that.
I am tied to the stake, and I must stand the course.
Wherefore to Dover, sir?
Because I would not see thy cruel nails pluck out his poor old eyes, nor thy fierce sister in his anointed flesh stick boorish fangs. The sea, with such a storm as his bare head and hell black night endure, would have buoyed up and quenched the stelled fires. Yet, poor old heart, he hoped the heavens to rain. If wolves had at thy gate howled that stern time, thou shouldst have said, "Good porter, turn the key." All cruel zealot subscribed, but I shall see the winged vengeance overtake such children.
See it thou shalt never. Fellows, hold the chair. Upon these eyes of thine, I'll set my foot.
He that will think to live till he be old, give me some help. Oh, cruel. Oh, you gods.
One side will mock another, the other too.
If you see vengeance.
Hold your hands, my lords. I have served you ever since I was a child, but better service have I never done you than now to bid you halt.
How now, you dog?
If you did wear a beard upon your chin, I'd shake it on this quarrel. What do you mean?
My
Then come on and take the chance of anger.
Give me thy sword. A peasant stand up thus.
Oh, I am slain. My lord, you have one eye left to see some mischief on him. Oh.
Lest it see more, prevent it. Out, vile jelly. Where's thy luster now?
All darkness and comfortless. Where is my son Edmund? Edmund, enkindle all the sparks of nature to quit this horrid act.
How treacherous villain! Thou call'st on him that hates thee. It was he that made the overture of thy treasons to us, who is too good to pity thee.
Oh, my follies! Then Edgar was abused. Kind gods, forgive me that, and prosper him.
Go, thrust him out at the gates, and let him smell his way to Dover. How is't, my lord? How look you?
I've received a hurt. Follow me, lady. Turn out that eyeless villain. Throw this slave upon the dunghill. Regan, I bleed apace. Untimely comes this hurt. Give me your arm.
I'll never care what wickedness I do if this man come to good. If she live long, and in the end meet the old course of death, women will all turn monsters. Let's follow the old earl and get the bedlam to lead him where he would. His roguish madness allows itself to anything. Go thou, I'll fetch some flax and whites effects to apply to his bleeding face. Now, heaven help him.
Hey, well, that went well, except for my one little screw up. And that would have been perfect without my messing up and reading the wrong person's line. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so next we have John and Henry being Othello and Yago. Break it down. You guys both found where that begins?
Yeah, from it.
You did say the first one, didn't you?
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. So
I put it on. I made that two different scenes that are both on the wheel. The one where they talked before, then after the stealing of the handkerchief.
So I believe it begins with Othello saying, "Excellent wretch."
Is that correct, Henry?
Yes.
I was looking at the one I was doing.
Hold on.
It's a little bit. It's not that far down.
Yeah, it's excellent wretch. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Ready, Henry?
Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on.
Excellent wretch. Perdition catch my soul, but I do love thee. And when I love thee not, chaos is come again.
My noble lord?
What dost thou say, Yago?
Did Michael Cassio, when you wooed my lady, know of your love?
He did, from first to last. Why dost thou ask?
But for a satisfaction of my thought, no further harm.
Why of thy thought, Yago?
I did not think he had been acquainted with her.
Oh, yes, and went between us very oft.
Indeed.
Indeed, aye, indeed. Discernest thou aught in that? Is he not honest?
Honest, my lord?
Honest, aye, honest.
My lord, for aught I know.
What dost thou think?
Think, my lord.
Think, my lord, by heaven he echoes me, as if there were some monster in his thought too hideous to be shown. Thou dost mean something. I heard thee say, even now, thou likest not that when Cassio left my wife. What didst not like? And when I told thee he was of my counsel in my whole course of wooing, thou criedst, indeed, and didst contract and purse thy brow together, as if thou hadst shut up in thy brain some horrible conceit. If thou dost love me, show me thy thought.
Oh, my lord, you know I love you.
I think thou dost. And for I know thou'rt full of love and honesty, and weighest thy words before thou givest them breath. Therefore these stops of thine fright me the more. For such things in a false disloyal knave are tricks of custom. But in a man that's just, they are close delations, working from the heart that passion cannot rule.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn I think that he is honest.
I think so too.
Men should be what they seem, or those that be not, would they might seem none.
Certain men should be what they seem.
Why then, I think Cassio's an honest man.
Nay, yet there's more in this. I pray thee, speak to me as to thy thinkings, as thou dost ruminate, and give thy worst of thoughts the worst of words.
Oh, good my lord, pardon me. Though I am bound to every act of duty, I am not bound to that all slaves are free to. To my thoughts, why, say they are vile and false, as where's that palace wherein two foul things sometimes intrude not. Who has a breast so pure, but some uncleanly apprehensions keep leets and law days, and in session sit with meditations lawful?
Thou dost conspire against thy friend, Yago. If thou but think'st him wronged, and makest his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
I do beseech you, though I perchance am vicious in my guess, as I confess, 'tis my nature's plague to spy into abuses, and oft my jealousy shapes faults that are not. That your wisdom yet from one so imperfectly conceits would take no notice, nor build yourself a trouble out of this scattering and unsure observance. It were not for your quiet, nor your good, nor for my manhood, honesty, or wisdom to let you know my thoughts.
What dost thou mean?
Good name, in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate duel of their souls. Who steals my purse steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing, 'tis mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name robs me of that which not enriches him, and makes me poor indeed.
By heaven, I'll know thy thoughts.
You cannot, if my heart were in your hand, nor shall not, whilst 'tis in my custody.
Ha!
Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. That cuckold lives in bliss, who, certain of his fate, loves not his wronger. But, oh, what damned minutes tells he, or who dotes yet doubts, suspects yet strongly loves?
Oh, misery!
Poor and content is rich and rich enough, but riches fineless is as poor as winter to him that ever fears he shall be poor. Good heaven, the souls of all my tribe defend from jealousy.
Why is this? Think'st thou I'd make a lie of jealousy to follow still the changes of the moon with fresh suspicions? No. To be once in doubt is once to be resolved. Exchange me for a goat when I shall turn the business of my soul to such extravagant and blown surmises, matching thy inference. 'Tis not to make me jealous to say my wife is fair, feeds well, loves company, is free of speech, sings, plays, and dances well. Where virtue is, these are more virtuous. Nor from mine own weak merits will I draw the smallest fear or doubt of her revolt. For she had eyes, and she chose me. No, Yago, I'll see before I doubt. And when I doubt, prove. And on the proof there is no more but this. Away at once with love or jealousy.
I am glad of it, for now I shall have a reason to show the love and duty that I bear you with franker spirit. Therefore, as I am bound, receive it from me. I speak not yet of proof. Look to your wife. Observe her well with Cassio. Wear your eye thus, not jealous nor secure. I would not have your free and noble nature out of self-bounty be abused. Look to it. I know our country disposition well. In Venice they do let heaven see the pranks that they dare not show their husbands. Their best conscience is not to leave it undone, but keep it unknown.
Dost thou say so?
She did deceive her father, marrying you. And when she seemed to shake and fear your looks, she loved them most.
And so she did.
Why go to then? She that so young could give out such a seeming to seal her father's eyes up close as oak, he thought 'twas witchcraft. But I am much to blame. I humbly do beseech you of your pardon for too much loving you.
I am bound to thee forever.
I see this has little dashed your spirit.
Not a jot, not a jot.
In faith, I fear it has. I hope you will consider what is spoke comes from my love. But I do see you're moved. I am to pray you not to strain my speech to grosser issues, nor to larger reach than to suspicion.
I will not.
Should you do so, my lord, my speech should fall into such vile success as my thoughts aim not at. Cassio's my worthy friend. My lord, I see you're moved.
No, not much moved. I do think, but Desdemona's honest.
Long live she so, and long live you to think so.
And yet, how nature erring from itself.
Aye, there's the point. As to be bold with you, not to affect many proposed matches of our own clime, complexion, and degree, whereto we see in all things nature tends. Oh, one may smell in such a will most rank, foul, disproportioned thoughts unnatural. But pardon me, I do not in position distinctly speak of her, though I might fear her will, recording to her better judgment, may fall to match you with her country forms, and happily repent.
Farewell, farewell. If thou dost perceive, let me know more. Set on thy wife to observe. Leave me, Yago.
My lord, I take my leave.
Why did I marry? This honest creature doubtless sees and knows more, much more than he unfolds.
My lord, I would I might entreat your honour to scan this thing no further. Leave it to time. Though it be fit that Cassio have his place, for sure he fills it up with great ability, yet if you please to hold him off a while, you shall by that perceive him and his means. Note, if your ladies strain his entertainment with any strong or vehement importunity, much will be seen in that. In the meantime, let me be thought too busy in my fears, as worthy cause I have to fear I am to hold her free. I do beseech your honour.
Fear not my government.
I once more take my leave.
This fellow's of exceeding honesty, and knows all qualities with a learned spirit of human dealings. If I do prove her haggard, though that her jesses were my dear heartstrings, I'd whistle her off and let her down the wind to pray at fortune. Haply, for I am black and have not those soft parts of conversation that chamberers have, or for I am declined into the vale of years. Yet that's not much. She's gone. I am abused, and my relief must be to loathe her. Oh, curse of marriage that we can call these delicate creatures ours and not their appetites. I had rather be a toad and live upon the vapor of a dungeon than keep a corner in the thing I love for others' usage. Yet, 'tis the plague of great ones, prerogatived are they less than the base. 'Tis destiny unshunnable, like death. Even then this forked plague is fated to us when we do quicken. Scene.
That's awesome. You two both really, and that was the interaction between the two of you. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. That was wonderful, John. Thank you so much for.
Thank you for letting me take that last little monologue there. I didn't know whether to do that or not. But anyway, no, this was a great deal of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry for coming, because it was confusing. Yago says he's leaving and then comes back in. I came back in thinking you were done when you weren't, so sorry about that. Okay, we have two scenes that were spun from Antony and Cleopatra. I first spun the one in the final scene. That might be harder to find, so if you're not ready, I can do the Octavia and Antony one first. But if you are ready, let's see, Cleopatra and Dolabella. That's the one where we would take it from Most Noble Empress. That's when the servants leave. It's Most Noble Empress, and then stop when Octavius Caesar comes in. Have you both found it? You're ready to go from that part?
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll finish with Octavia and Antony. So Cleopatra and Dolabella. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Assuredly, you know me.
You start one line higher, don't you?
Oh, you're right.
I guess I have the first line. I'm sorry.
I think so. Yeah.
Say I would die.
Most noble Empress, you have heard of me.
I cannot tell.
Assuredly, you know me.
No matter, sir, what I have heard or known. You laugh when boys or women tell their dreams. Is not your trick.
I understand not, madam.
I dreamed there was an Emperor Antony. Oh, such another sleep that I may see but such another man.
If it might please you.
His face was as the heavens, and therein stuck a sun and moon, which kept their course and lighted the little O, the earth.
Most
His
sovereign creature
bestrid the ocean. His reared arm crested the world. His voice was propertied as all the tuned spheres, and that to friends. But when he meant to quail and shake the orb, he was as rattling thunder. For his bounty there was no winter in it, and autumn 'twas that grew the more by reaping. His delights were dolphin like, they showed his back above the element they lived in. In his livery walked crowns and crownettes. Realms and islands were as plates dropped from his pocket.
Cleopatra.
Think you there was, or might be, such a man as this I dreamed of?
Gentle madam, no.
You lie. Up to the hearing of the gods. But if there be, or ever were, such, it's past the size of dreaming. Nature wants stuff, devise strange forms with fancy, yet to imagine. And Anthony, were nature's peace 'gainst fancy condemning shadows quite.
Hear me, good madam. Your loss is as yourself great, and you bear it as answering to the weight what I might never o'ertake pursuing success. But I do feel by the rebound of yours a grief that smites my very heart at its root.
I thank you, sir. Know you what Caesar means to do with me?
I am loath to tell you what I would you knew.
Nay, pray you, sir.
Oh, he be honorable.
He'll lead me then in triumph.
Madam, he will, I know it.
Very nice. It's always nice when you happen to have a prop on hand that makes that works perfectly in the scene. Okay, so our
such a cheap trick, this thing.
Okay, so lastly we have Antony and Octavia, which is going to be Ted and Shelia. you both got the scene ready to go? Okay.
Yes. Nay, Octavia, not only that were excusable, that, and thousands more of semblable import. But he hath waged new wars gainst Pompey, made his will and read it to public ear, spoke scantily of me, when perforce he could not but pay me terms of honor, cold and sickly. He vented them, most narrow measure lent me. When the best hint was given him, he not took, or did it from his teeth.
Oh, my good Lord, believe not all, or if you must believe, stomach not all. A more unhappy lady, if this division chance, ne'er stood between, praying for both parts. Oh, the gods, the good gods, me presently, when I shall pray. Oh, bless my lord and husband. Undo that prayer by crying out as loud, oh, bless my brother. Husband, win brother. Prays and destroys the prayer. No midway tricks these extremes at all.
Gentle Octavia, let your best love draw to that point, which seeks best to preserve it. If I lose mine honor, I lose myself. Better I were not yours than yours so branchless. But as you requested, yourself shall go betweens. The meantime, lady, I'll raise the preparation of a war, shall stain your brother, make your soonest haste, so your desires are yours.
Thanks to my lord. The Jove of power makes me a most weak, your reconciler. Wars twixt you twain would be as if the world should cleave, and that slain men should solder up the rift.
When it appears to you where this begins, turn your displeasure that way, for our faults can never be so equal that your love can equally move with them. Provide your going, choose your own company, and command what cost your heart has mind to. Scene.
Okay, very nice. That was it's a short but sweet scene. Really, a lot of drama in one very short scene. I did it the last time a couple months ago. It was with Maggie. I can't remember who it was that I did that one with. But okay, anyway, thank you to everybody today for the great performances. Remember to email me, send me how do you vote on it. But I will just say in the end, I'm going to take host's privilege at this point. Not to, I won't go so far as to exercise veto power if that's how the majority feel. But I'm going to go so far as to make a plea here as we finish that I feel very strongly that the randomness is really the idea of the game, and the like as we saw with and the arguments people have made for against this method, I think are kind of making my argument for me when they say, why should we have to go unprepared? That's kind of that's the idea, is that it's to see how well you know Shakespeare. The fact that when Alex spun his and he got one that he knew by heart, that's part of it. You know Shakespeare so well that you have a greater chance of getting something that you're prepared for, and even maybe as prepared for as Alex was, of being off book with it. And like I even thought when I was conceiving it in the first place to say, let's see how well you know it, and if you happen to get one you don't know, hey, that's part of the game. And I might have I thought about even doing something like when Sheila even asked, what's the background of this scene and so forth. I mean, I could take it even farther and say, if somebody asks me what's going on in this scene, refuse to answer and say, no, you have to go with show us how much of Shakespeare you know. I'm not going to go that far, but I still feel very strongly that we should have the randomness, and have the part of the challenge of the game is how well do you know Shakespeare, that how prepared can you be on a moment's notice without preparation. So that's how I feel. But let me know. I've had votes on both sides, but before next week's game, let me know how you feel. So thank you, everybody, and I'll see you guys next week. Same Bard time, same Bard channel.